You are listening to Radio Long Island City, recorded at our studios near Hell Gate, 9 kilometers north of the Harbor Hill Moraine. And now, the Observatory. The Observatory, Sunday the 10th of August, 2025. It is 51 days after the summer solstice. It is 43 days before the fall equinox. By the French Republican calendar, it is the 23rd day of Thermidor, the day of the lentille, the lentil. The sun rises today at 6:01 a.m. Solar noon takes place today at 1:01 p.m. The sun sets today at 8 p.m. Civil twilight ends at 8:30 p.m. and nautical twilight ends at 9:06 p.m. The length of daytime today is 2 minutes, 16 seconds shorter than yesterday. The moon is in its waning gibbous phase and is 98% full at midday. The third quarter will arrive on Saturday, the 16th of August. These are the predicted tides today for Horns Hook. In the early morning, low tide, 5:32 a.m., -3 centimeters. Near midday, high tide, 11:52 a.m., 1 meter 58. In the evening, low tide, 5:49 p.m., 9 centimeters. In our shared realm of plants and animals, according to Whales of New York, the first whale spotting of the season in our waters took place on July 31st. It was a fin whale. These large baleen whales historically frequent the waters around the New York Bight beginning in August. In September, quite a few will visit, but the main time they can be found here is from November to March. They are slightly endangered, being ranked as a vulnerable species. Commemorations. Annals of the Great Cities. On this day in 612 BCE, the city of Nineveh, the capital of the Assyrian Empire, fell to the Babylonians and the Medes. It was at the time the most populous city on the earth. It was sacked and entirely destroyed. The Assyrian Empire was noted for its cruelty and was hated and feared by its neighbors. And so the destruction of the great city of Nineveh has many dimensions. On this day in 1776, news of the United States Declaration of Independence reached London. A swift packet ship brought letters from the British General William Howe, who was stationed on Staten Island and preparing to take New York City. The news of the declaration was published in the London Gazette, which quoted Howe's letter. Quote, "I am informed that the Continental Congress have declared the United Colonies free and independent states." Unquote. King George III was sanguine about the matter, sure his forces would quash the rebellion. In a speech that October, he said of the colonists, quote, "No people ever enjoyed more happiness or lived under a milder government than those now revolted provinces." Unquote. Apparently, he had not heard news that New Yorkers had torn down his statue in Bowling Green earlier that year. Speaking of independence movements, on this day in 1809, the region of Quito in the Andes declared its independence from Spain, the first place in Latin America to do so. Although the revolution was unsuccessful, it was a portent of things to come. Today is celebrated in Ecuador as a national holiday. Happy Independence Day to our Ecuadorian friends. A milestone. On this day in 1846, Congress established the Smithsonian Institution. In doing so, they established what would become the world's largest museum and research complex. The institution was established with a bequest from the British scientist James Smithson, who wished to establish a center for the increase and diffusion of knowledge. Let us celebrate one of the most precious cultural and educational institutions in our nation. On this day in 1920, Mamie Smith and her Jazz Hounds recorded the song Crazy Blues for OK Records. Within a month of release, it had sold 75,000 copies. Mamie Smith's hit opened the door for black artists in the music industry, proving there was a market for what became known, rather unfortunately, as race music. But the effect was electric and paved the way for the many black recording artists who would follow. Today we wish a happy birthday to Antonio Banderas, born this day in 1960 in Malaga. He began his career in Spain, working with the director Pedro Almodovar. He made his American film debut in Mambo Kings in 1992. His body of work in Spanish and English language cinema is enormous. Happy birthday, Antonio Banderas. And that is The Observatory, Sunday the 10th of August, 2025.